I know people don't really do accent memes anymore. It's more of a 2011 thing, I guess. I know I did it in 2011 when and that was going around on my old YouTube, but I'm bored right now. I like to hear different accents, and honestly, I kind of want to compare this video to my old one personally, like not for everybody else to see, but just personally to see how I've changed and whatnot in that time. I mean, 2011 was 5 years ago, um, so I guess I decided to do this. I'm going to post it in a couple different places. So if anybody wants to respond, they can reply on the places where I'm going to post it, either with a video clip or an audio clip on like Vocaroo or something, or you can comment right here on YouTube. Assuming you're watching it on my YouTube, I would be surprised if you are, to be incredibly honest, because my current YouTube account does not have the viewer count, subscriber count that my old YouTube had. My old YouTube had like a couple hundred subscribers, when really all I did was post really stupid shit for the most part. I mean, I posted fan videos, and one of my top viewed videos had like several hundred thousand views, and it's a fan video. But my current YouTube has like nothing on it because I don't do anything on YouTube anymore. And someday I kind of want to start again, so I figured I would start by just posting this accent meme. So you can all see me and hear my voice and shit like that. Um, so I will be reading a list that's from Tumblr. It's got a couple extra things that were not in the original list that I read 5 years ago. But let's see where it goes. Name and username. My name is Ryan, and my username pretty much everywhere, so it really doesn't matter where I post this. It's probably going to be the same username everywhere. Is Padawan Ryan, which is actually just short for Padawan Ryan of the Vitosh Couture. But well, I mean, you can't fit that in a username, so Padawan Ryan works. Where I'm from, I am from Ontario, Canada. On the following words on the list: ant, roof, route, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, Alabama, lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, pajamas, caught, naturally, aluminum, jiff, tumbler, crackerjack, doorknob, and envelope. Yes, I know I have a bit of a lisp. You might have heard it in some of those words. I have a bad time with j sounds and ch sounds. But yeah. Okay. So the questions now on that list. What's it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? We usually just call that TPing a house. Bubbly carbonated drink is called pop. What do you call gym shoes? It really depends on where you are, I guess. When I was a kid, everybody said runners. Um, Later on in life, I heard running shoes a lot. Sneakers is one that I say as an adult. As a kid, it was always runners, but as an adult, when I'm talking about like gym shoes, running shoes, athletic shoes, it's typically I just say sneakers. Um, what do you call your grandparents? I have three sets of grandparents: a granny and granddaddy, a nan and gramps, and a grandma and grandpa. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? We call that a shopping cart or a cart, and nobody calls it a supermarket. It's usually grocery store, something like that. I mean, or the name of the store itself. Like I usually just say, oh, Walmart, because Walmart is where I do all my shopping. But besides that, yeah, it's usually grocery store. Um, What's the thing you change the TV channel with? Remote control or remote? Choose a book and read a passage from it. Okay, I'm gonna warn you. I am a history grad student, and I'm doing research on sodomy, on historical gay sex. So the nearest book I have with right here is not explicit or anything like that, but if I read a passage from it, it's going to be related to that. Okay. A growing interest in images of masculinity in the past owes much to an understanding of sexuality and gender roles as socially constructed. This thesis, in developing the theoretical standpoint adopted in feminist, women's, and gay histories, has stimulated attempts to understand masculinity as a subject worthy of historical investigation, creating what John Tosh has termed a gendered history of men. Such studies seek to highlight the importance of discussions of masculinity to historical communities, and so question the traditional identification of women alone as carriers of gender, because their reproductive role was held to define their place in society and their characters. In doing so, men's histories challenge prevailing notions of hegemonic masculinity and seek to develop a more nuanced understanding of masculinity as a complex series of shifting social and cultural constructions. Providing an understanding of male conduct as gendered is intended to open up new fields of historical inquiry, as well as to supplement existing areas of research into the relations of gender, race, and class, with information and insight into the structure and mechanisms of patriarchal authority. If that actually interested anyone, I guess this is the book. So, yeah. Do you think you have an accent? Everybody has an accent. Doesn't matter where you come from. I know a lot of people in North America do not think they have an accent, and that everybody else in the world has an accent. As a kid, I could remember saying, like, normal voice and then accents. But, growing up, I have determined that everybody in the world has a different accent from one another, and therefore everybody has an accent, even if to you your voice sounds completely normal compared to everybody else. Be a wizard or a vampire. I guess I'm gonna have to say wizard because magic. Duh. If anybody gets that reference too, I will be surprised, but also really amazed. So, yeah. But yeah, vampire, it's like, I don't like the idea of having to suck blood to survive. And, I mean, avoiding daylight is not that bad an option, because then I'll have an excuse to stay inside all the time and be a hermit and whatnot. But, I don't like the idea of not being able to eat garlic, because I like garlic bread. I mean, holy water, staying away from holy water is all fine and dandy, because I'm not religious, so... but, yeah, I don't like the idea of having to suck blood to survive, because I am already socially anxious. Can you imagine if I had to go suck somebody's blood? I would be way too afraid to even approach them, and then I'd probably just die out of, like, anxiety. I'd have a heart attack before I'd actually die of anything related to vampirism. But, yeah, so, wizard. Do you know anyone on Tumblr in real life? I actually know several people on Tumblr in real life, because, several of my friends and I follow each other. It's kind of interesting, too, to see the different, things that people post, just because, like, talk to each other every day, and you don't really discuss a lot of the type of things that are on Tumblr. I mean, you sometimes do. I mean, I post a lot of science fiction and yaoi shit, and I mean, I'm really gay, so... and, I talk about science fiction all the time. I've got plenty of science fiction tattoos. But, it's like, I've got, like, a friend who posts just only memes, and I've got somebody else who likes to post, stuff like sexual and BDSM stuff. And I mean, nah, it's not like she's not really into that stuff, or not open about being into that stuff, but I mean, it's just not something you really discuss on a day-to-day basis in public. But yeah, so I do know several people on Tumblr in real life, and some of them are actually probably going to watch this. Not all of them, of course, but I'm sure some of you are. To the people I actually know probably who are going to watch this, hi. um, End the audio post by saying any 3 words you want. I guess I'll say bectionary, because for years I've always said that bectionary is my favorite word. If you get that reference, you're cool. I mean, even if you don't get that reference, you could still be cool, but I mean, I love Futurama. I spent my very first paycheck on the first 4 seasons of Futurama when they were they were not brand new. This was back in 2008, but that's when those were the only 4 seasons that existed. I completed my collection in recent years, but yeah, so bectionary. Oh, what's another word? I guess for another one, I'll go with epitome, just because I'm constantly reminded how many people do not know how to pronounce epitome, and I'm usually the one to correct them, and I always feel so conceited and so like grammar Nazi-ish or something like that. I mean, it's not grammar, but I always feel like a jerk when I tell people it's epitome, not epitome. Everybody says epitome, but it's just that's the word. And I mean, my sister goes like, "Oh, well, everyone pronounces it epitome," but it's like, no, it's epitome. You've heard it before. And I guess for the 3rd word, I will say Pokemon, because I am always talking about Pokemon. I mean, I know technically it's Pokemon. When I was a kid, it was Pokemon, but as an adult, I just say Pokemon because it's fast, it's easy, and honestly, when you put emphasis on that accented letter, it makes you sound excited all the time. And I mean, who's not excited when you're talking about Pokemon, really? But I don't know. I find it easier to say Pokemon. So yeah, Bectionary, Epitome, and Pokemon. Those are my 3 words. And I hope you like this video. I know it's longer probably than you were expecting. I tend to babble a bit. This is actually the 2nd version I filmed of this video, because the first one was way too long and I babbled then too. So yeah, have fun with accents. Peace.